Namaste, Sudha Ragunathan here. Hello to everybody. It's time again for the fortnightly celebrity guest on Expressions Espresso. Time seems to be flying so fast, and we are gradually and slowly returning to a normalcy, but a new normalcy. Let us hope that the art and artists soon get back to their respective platforms and do what they are best at to bring smiles and joy to their audience. Sid Sriram last week melted our hearts with his emotion laden singing. And the story of his journey, his mentors, his music, his heroes and heroine, and his passions. Thank you, Sid, for a beautiful evening and for so generously obliging our audience by singing so many of their favorites. Wishing you the very best for more milestones. Our guest this evening is a powerhouse performer and an entertainer par excellence who has impressively established herself as one of the most talented and bankable actors in the country today. Hailing from a royal lineage, she is a trained Bharatanatyam dancer and has effortlessly managed to carve a niche for herself, excelling in performances with her seamless act in both commercial, mainstream cinema and content driven films. A popular name in the Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam entertainment industry. She made her on screen debut with the Tamil film Sringaram in 2007 and subsequently won many awards. I would specifically say a few: the Filmfare, Zee, and Saima Awards for her outstanding debut in the Telugu film Sammohanam. Up next, apart from her other films, is a Tamil feature film, Hey Sinamika, opposite Dulquer Salman, slated for the 2021 release. Often referred to as India's Audrey Hepburn, she is also a fashion favorite with her own inherent sense of style and a regular on magazine covers. So, what are her other passions? She loves to dance and enjoys singing, although she is not being formally trained. For fitness, it is yoga, and for de stressing, it is traveling. That's quite a diverse package, right? So, let us move on to know more from the lady herself. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome the very beautiful Aditi Rao Hydari. Hi, Aditi. Namaste.
Um,
Welcome. A very big hug, virtual hug, and welcome.
and to you, I am so happy to be talking to you.
So, how do you know me?
I know you from my childhood because I grew up a lot around music and dance. I learned dance from the time that I was 5, and my mother sings Hindustani, and I heard a lot of Hindustani, but because of my dancing, my teacher Leelakar and my mother used to always say you should hear Carnatic music, you should hear Carnatic music, and my grandmother also loved Carnatic music a lot. And so I heard, like growing up, I heard you, and of course many other vocalists as well. And I really enjoyed listening to you. And more recently, what I was telling you when I spoke to you last was I heard that. I mean, I saw that lovely interview of yours, and I was like, "You're too cool. You're just so cool."
We try to be. So,
No, you're effortlessly cool. And that interview was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to talk about your body of work, about what you love, about you singing, you dancing, and a lot of fun things. So let's start with the more serious one.
Okay.
Your upbringing was in Hyderabad and Delhi, and you were exposed to varied cultures by your parents. Which of those would you still closely associate yourself?
I think my childhood and how I was brought up is so like today I realize the value of it and how important it is for a child to have that kind of very free, very nurturing, very loving, and very an environment that is so that makes you very fearless. I mean that encourages you to be fearless, to ask questions. I also went to a Krishnamurti Foundation school
Oh,
where there was so much emphasis on asking why, what, to that, to keep that curiosity in a child alive, and for the child to not be fearful. And like my mom is has learned dance when she was growing up, and then chose music for her life. And I feel like, for me, I woke up to the sound of my mother doing her riyas with the danpura in my home. And as a child, you will probably, you're so used to it, you don't think much of it. You're just like, yeah, my mother doing her riyas, whatever. But it's only later, then when you move away, like I moved to Bombay to be an actor, and then you miss it, and then you realize how much value it holds in your world, in your life, and how it shapes you. I feel just the sound of the tanpura is so, it is the most beautiful sound, and to have grown up with it, to have probably known it from before I was born. Like my mother took me to every single music concert that must have happened in Delhi from the time I was 2 till the time that I was like possibly young enough to be like, okay, fine, I'll come. There was a point where I said, no, I'm not coming. But I literally have heard all musicians, watched all dancers, been to every kind of art exhibition, sculpture, like just grown up around artists. And I feel I was so lucky to have had that.
sure.
And I feel like somewhere it keeps that. I feel like artists are forever children. Their curiosity is always alive. They're always exploring, always curious, always learning. And I feel like I really, that my upbringing really has helped me possibly stay like that even today, because I know that art form will always be bigger than me, and I will always be trying to get to somewhere where I can, like, be constantly learn to get somewhere. But I know that I'll never get there, but I'll constantly be yearning to get there. And that is the whole beauty of art. And yeah, so I think that comes from my childhood for sure.
You summed it up so beautifully. I do believe in that. Like we're forever learning, we're forever children. And being a child at heart, I think gives you that exuberance, that enthuse to keep
Yeah.
on learning, right?
And I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm like, it's terrible being an adult.
You are telling me that, so you can imagine how I feel about
But you're a true artist.
it. Your mother was your first guru, right? I mean, like for me too.
100%. Like guru in terms of, like, I think a parent is always, once you learn by example. My mother and my grandmother, like, I think there's such huge influences in my life, and my guru Leela Samson. But I never actually learned music. So my mother did send me to Shubha Mudgal. I call her Shubha Masi because I've known her since I was small. So she sent me to her when I was very little. And for but I loved going to class, but I don't know why I didn't last music class. I was like, my playtime used to get, it used to interfere in my playtime. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do one of these things. I'll either go to dance class, and dance class was my own choice. So I went to dance class, and the music just dropped along the wayside. But I feel because I never got forced to go to music class, I love music even today. So my mother's my first guru, but I never really learned music from her. I never sat in front of her and learned from her.
You learned from Shubha Mudgal, right?
I did. For
For
a
a short period.
actually under a year. Yeah.
So you would have learned something there.
Yes,
You
I did.
probably keep humming even now.
Yeah.
So what's that?
I'll tell you. There's a song that something that I learned when I was very very little, which they also sing in Carnatic music, I think, but it's different how she taught me. I don't know if I'll get the tunes mixed up, but basically, Shubha Masi's class was, we were very small. We were like 4 years old, so she was just teaching us songs, literally. And so it wasn't like we didn't learn any ragam. I didn't know whether it was a ragam, what it was, talam, nothing. It was just songs. And there was like it was a very happy, fun class. But you're asking me what I learned, if I still remember it.
Just one little line from that class.
So the same song I learned there, and then I learned in school also very differently. So it was Gaye Ganapati Jagavandana Shankar Suvana Bhavani Nandana Gaye Ganapati Jagavandana. The same song I learned in school. The music teacher in school taught us. It was different. It was Gaye Ganapati Jagavandana Shankara Suvana Bhavani Nandana Gaye. So when I heard this in school, I was like, that's not the tune. How are you confusing me like this?
So while on the music, I'm going to give you a small bouquet of two ragas that you like.
Okay, I'll not be able to recognize it.
You will.
Oh, I will? Okay, I'll try.
They're ragas that you know and you like.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. Gapani sari gari padari. Gari sani bagari. Gapani sa. Hamsadhwani. Yes.
Hamsadhwani.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just got nervous.
Yeah. Because I was just trying to. So what I do is I'll try and match a song with what I'm listening to, and I'm like, this is Hamsadhwani.
Okay. Na.
This is Todi.
Shivaranjani.
Again?
See, I mean, the perception of a raga changes in the person listening to it unless and until you understand the base sur. Sa pa sa. That's the sa pa sa. Now you'll catch it. Sa pa sa. Pa da sa ri ga.
Now I get.
Now you understand, right?
Yeah.
Till you're able, till that base sur is sa is floating in your mind, it's so difficult because you catch the other notes and it'll sound like a different rag.
Yeah, because
that's the reason why you probably said to yourself.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't recognize this, so it must be that. Because Shivaranjani to me is so like because there's so many movie songs also in Shivaranjani.
Yes.
So I know this, but I couldn't make out.
But listen, after I told you the sapa sas, the position
then
of
I could make.
Yeah. Dasariga dari sada.
Yes. Yeah, now I can make out.
So about your dance, what is the takeaway from having been a disciple of one of the illustrious artists of our times, Leela Samsonaka?
I think there are too many. There's too much that one learns from a guru, and it's not just the art form. It's also a way of life. It's also discipline. It's also so many things, like just a way of being. So much. I mean, I can't even it's so difficult for me to now put into words what all one learns, and they are almost like like parents to us, because we've been with them from when we're so small. Like when you're 5 years old, you go to a guru, and then they bring you up literally. But I would say that I think one of the things that I really that Akka really instilled in us was to always, she used to always say, and it really like, I feel that it helps me a lot when I'm working on camera even, is that but your practice and your riyas is something that, and your technique is something that you should never show off to somebody. It should never, your whatever your performance is should never come from a place of cleverness or like a gimmick or like a show off. It should come from your heart. So like you practice so much at home. You practice till you bleed, you cry, you do whatever. But once you come in front of your audience, you must just bear your heart and flow. And never ever, like, there should not be that wall in front of you to say I'm clever, I know it, I it should just be all heart. And I think that's something that I really learned from Akka and my mother and a lot of people around me, because I watched them, and that was like, you learn by example. I think especially from artists, quite often they won't actually say it in words, but that's what you feel, from their performance and from the way that they teach you, etc. So I think that's one thing that I really love. The other thing is like, Mm, I think like a true artist is somebody who is very rooted, because you're like what I was like what you were also saying earlier is that your art form is so vast, it's so great, it's almost sacred. How do you ever reach it? So the human in you is always human. It's like that whole thing of the of Atma and Paramatma. You'll always be yearning, but you'll always be, so you'll be a flawed person and you keep trying and trying and trying. So I feel like especially in my field where people are very kind to us, because they see us on these big screens and we play characters that they fall in love with, and we are dressed up, and I always say it takes an army to make us that like that. It takes a great director to show you like that, and I'm just a normal girl at the end of the day. But somewhere like that, my learning from my dance, etc., always, like, I think that always stays with me, that I'm actually just a normal girl, and there's this whole team that makes me that. So just to like to keep and I love all the love and etc., and of course you fly with it, but somewhere you always stay rooted, because that I think that all I got from my dance and from Akka. And
Yeah, to sum up what you said, I think it's you're coming to say that to be humble is the best way to project our art form to audience.
yeah, and to learn, because to learn you have to have that, like, to keep learning, you have to be a sponge. So yeah, so you have to be a clean slate. You walk onto a set and as a clean slate. Yeah.
So now you've been familiar with both the art forms, dance and music. I'm sure it has helped your journey into films. But in your own words, how?
I don't know. It's only because people ask me this question is that I think about it. But otherwise, I feel like it's, dance and music is so much a part of me, my blood, that I don't know how it helps me. I guess one incident or one part of my learning was when I was very little. Lilaka would because when you're 12, 13, you're so conscious, and when you're doing padams and javalis, it's all love poetry, and you're just like, oh god, and all your classmates are teasing you because you're doing some ashtapadi or some padam, and it's very hectic, and then you're all making eyes at each other and blushing and not doing the abhinayam that you're supposed to do. I remember Akka was like fed up of us, and she basically kept us like this. She was like, come and sit in front of me, and she would make us sit like this, and then we'd be looking into her eyes like that and doing the padam. And somewhere, what happens is your self-consciousness just goes. And I feel that thing possibly really, like, to me, the camera feels like that. It's so intimate, it's so close, and I feel like I'm so free, and there's no walls, no barriers. I can be who I want, do what I want. It feels like one magic wonderland kind of space. So I feel like it's possibly that. And I feel like film is such a beautiful, like, cinema is like, it's like an amalgamation of every single art form. So I feel so lucky to be a part of this world where literally, like, sometimes on set I don't leave set because I'm like, I'm like watching the art direction team, I'm watching the DOP, I'm like, some of my co-stars are also very interested in everything. So then we'll talk about this, they'll teach me something about lighting or angle, whatever. So I find it so interesting, it's so much fun, it's like wonderland for me. So yeah, but I think it comes from the music and dance somewhere.
So I want you to talk about your experience in your very first South Indian film, Sringaram.
Sringaram was like literally age of innocence for me. I did not know what I was doing. I just knew one thing, that they wanted a dancer and they needed a very young dancer. And I remember Akka had some tour that I was supposed to go on, and the dates were clashing. And I was like, Akka will kill me if I leave this tour and go off and shoot this in, because from the inside I was dying to be an actor, but I never had the guts to say it to anybody. I wanted to be a Mani Ratnam heroine. It was a clear 1 point agenda for me. And I was like, my mother will kill me if I like do this. And like, I can't ditch and I can't do these things. Luckily, the dates changed. That's how I got to do Sringaram. And it was literally like being taken and put in the deep end of a pool and saying, now just swim. And I didn't know what was going on. I had never been in front of a camera. But all I remember was that I even remember the scene. I'm sitting on the floor eating, and I leave my food and I just leave. And I just walk away. I'm like grumpy or I'm sulking or something. And I remember it was okayed in one take. It was not a difficult shot. It was okayed in one take. I had mugged my dialogues like, I can't even tell you how. I didn't Tamil. And mugged it like, I don't think I studied that much for my boards that I studied for this dialogue. And I did the shot and they said okay, and then they all clapped because it was my first shot. And they said this one sentence they used, oh, the camera loves her. And I was just looking at them like, are they crazy? What are they even saying? How can the camera love a person? What does this mean? But I just knew that they were happy with me and it made me feel really happy. But I went through that film not knowing anything. They would tell me go to sleep, out. They would tell me get up, I would get up. They would tell me laugh, I would laugh. They would tell me dance, I would dance. I didn't know anything. All I know is I would cry because they would not let me sleep. I would do like 36 hours of shoot, dancing, and I was not sleeping, and I would be like, let me sleep. And then they would say, so and so actor has done 48 hours without any sleep. I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll also do. I'll show you. So this is how we shot that film. It was fun, but they were a bunch of very nice people.
So your innocence, your vulnerability, your kiddishness, that childishness really came out to the forefront in that movie.
Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about your singing debut for the film London, Paris, New York. And we definitely want you to sing a few lines of Teri.
Teri Se Zindagi. Ma'am, that's not an easy song to sing. Plus, I mean, easy song as in it's a very...
I know what you mean.
I don't remember that song and it's not really I don't know how to say. Yeah.
Forget it. But tell us about the experience.
So I'm always singing or dancing. Like even on set, my feet will be tapping or I'll be humming some tune or whatever. So once I remember we were in the producer's house, Shishti and Goldie Behel, their siblings, and I was in Shishti Didi's house and something happened and they were all like talking about something and I zoned out. I'm a big dreamer, so I zoned out and I was humming something, and Ali, who's a musician, he was like, you sing. I was like, no, I don't sing. Because I'm very shy. I'm very shy at singing. So I used to be. And he was like, no, you sing. I was like, no, I don't sing. I'm a bathroom singer, all this I did. And they were like, no, sing. So that day they convinced me to sing. So I sang. And then he was like, you have to sing in this film. So I thought they'll forget about it, but they didn't forget. And they took me to the studio. It was the first time I walked into a studio to sing. And I sang. Again, like when you don't know, it's not as scary. You know what I mean? So there's nothing to prove to anybody. You're just like, okay, you want me to sing, I'll sing. Like that. So that's how I did it. It was fun actually. I enjoy singing in a studio because I feel more safe. But my only thing is that don't now start auto tuning and all, because you can hear it. You can hear that cheating, So I'm like, I'll do it 3 times, but I don't want to be Apaswaram. I'll get it right, but don't do like try. Yeah.
I know,
Make
because
work for
it's
it.
a very
Like,
sensitive ear. You can see the melodyne tuning.
yeah, and I didn't want to do that. So
Okay, now what about the Hindi version of the song? We are family for the Hollywood animation film Ice Age 4.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that I did that.
See, I remember.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I don't remember anything of that honestly. Again, they call me. I actually sing uh, Western music really badly. Like I sound like I'm singing a bhajan. So I just don't sing Western music.
So cute.
Shweta, my manager, she makes so much fun of me because sometimes I'll sing like these, like these dance songs and whatever. And she's like, Addu, how is it that every song that you sing like this sounds like a bhajan? I'm like, so just not even try. So I don't.
When you get used to one genre of singing, it creeps into your other genres as well.
Yeah,
Like I
kind
sing
of.
Carnatic. Even when I sing films, some embellishments come like Carnatic.
Yes.
I have to correct myself and say, go softer that.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand. Like, I can only sing Indian style music, and that too filmy music. I can sing. Anything else is just disastrous.
To de-link from the fresh and vulnerable stamp that I gave you, you did the film Murder, that, according to you, would show the mysterious and sensual side of you. And I think it has been really reviewed as a knockout performance by
Thank you, thank you. I actually
you and everyone.
No, I actually enjoyed doing Murder 3 because it was one of the murders that was actually very different from the other murders. And it was so much about this girl who gets trapped in the room and blah, blah, blah. So it gave me actually a lot of scope to perform and perform differently because I'd come off some like love stories and stuff like that. So it was different for me. And I made some good friends on that set because it was just a young crew. They're still my friends, and I had fun
Nice.
working on that film. It was nice, but it was quite hectic um, because I had to be locked up in this room and constantly look like I don't know.
Trauma.
Yeah, it was quite harrowing, but it was fun.
Okay, what was it like acting alongside Amitabh Bachchan ji in that?
It was so amazing. For some reason, I wasn't even afraid. I don't know why. I think he's just so. I think what's so amazing about him is that he has this very infectious kind of childlike love for his work, and he's so much fun on set. Like his eyes are always twinkling. He's always, he's always like chatting with somebody. I remember in that film he was on a wheelchair. He would keep like whizzing that wheelchair around on that set and almost bump into people and then laugh and then reverse and then go somewhere else. He never ever went to his van. So he was so cool. He's really cool. And he just makes everyone feel really comfortable, though he has this very imposing persona. Like he'd walk into a room and you want to stand up, and
Right.
he's a legend. But somewhere like he's just so amazing, and I really enjoyed working. He was, and what a like I remember there was a scene where I, like he's speaking to me and the camera was on him first. It was my over my shoulder, and he did this scene, and I remember the way he did it. I actually started crying. I felt so sad. I started crying, and then they turned the camera around and it was his over shoulder, so it was his back and my face. Ma'am, like he did this scene exactly in the same way with as much emotion and as much like love for what he was doing, and it was so real to me even that time, even though his face wasn't even there, it was over his shoulder, that again tears came out of my eyes, and I was just like that he's so kind. Like he could easily not have done it. He could have just said his lines, but it was so like I really you feel like that is how much a person with so much experience continues to love their craft and art and gives somebody who is so inexperienced like compared to him so much like so much love and respect as a co-actor. It's just so nice. It's so humbling, and so it was so amazing.
Seemed like you almost relived and recaptured that scene now.
Yeah,
Emotional.
yeah.
What about a few words about the magnificence of a Sanjay Leela Bansali production, Padmaavat?
I think both Mani sir and Sanjay sir, I watched Khamoshi and Bombay especially. Like when I saw Bombay, I was like, I want to be a Mani Ratnam heroine. And then Khamoshi, and I feel like Manisha Koirala was somebody who really inspired me to, to want to be an actress. I loved her vulnerability and strength, and it was so lovely. I like to watch her. And so Sanjay sir has always been like one of those dream directors for me. And I remember when he called me for Padmaavat, he told me that there are 4 principal actors, and the part that I'm calling you for is actually in screen time less. But I promise you, she is so beautiful and she's so magical. And I just like I had no doubt. I read it. I loved her. I loved working with Sanjay sir. He's such an artist. Like inside out, he has the soul of an artist. He has the craziness of an artist. He has the passion of an artist. And from music to dance to art to costume to everything.
Yes.
And he's just a 360 artist. He's just so amazing, and I just love him. Yeah. So it feels so amazing to be part of somebody's vision. Like when you respect somebody and they call you to be a part of their vision, it's a huge it's a huge blessing to me.
It's a saga of love. Sanjay Leela Bansali loves his films, loves his art form, craft. You love him for what he gave you to do in the film. We love all of you for what you gave to us on screen. So it's a saga.
Yeah.
Now to something that's very close to your soul. 2017, Kaatru Veliyidai, Mani Sirs, and of course 2018, Chekkachivanda Vanam. I think we want to hear your stories about both of these.
So I became an actor because of Mani sir. I watched Bombay. I wanted to literally run and I didn't grow up in a home that watched too many films. It was more child friendly, English films. And then I saw Bombay and I was just like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. And then I watched all of Mani sir's films. I never told anybody till KV released. When KV released and I started doing interviews, that's when I said, I wanted to be that. I joined the films to be a Mani Ratnam heroine, and so for me, KV was a life-changing experience in every way. And Mani sir is like he's the parent, he's like a teacher, guru, mentor, everything, and I love working with him. And I feel like his set and what I felt on his set is so special, and I feel like I now only look for those experiences where I feel like for an artist, like that's what we were saying, like there's a artists or actors or whoever, they like kids, there's that curiosity, that thing to learn, that thing to be free. I feel like on a Manisa set you are free like a child, fearless like a child, but at the same time he's very nurturing, and that you can fall off the cliff, make a mistake and fall off the cliff, but he'll catch you, put you back there and say, jump, fly again. And that feeling is so addictive and so special, and really Manisa's set gives you that feeling, and I love it, and it really changed my world. So Leela is special to me, Manisa is special to me, that entire team, like Madras Talkies is still home for me. I like literally, like when I go to Chennai, the first place I go is Akka and Madras Talkies are the two, like, they're really my home for me, and I just love everything about Manisa.
So of course you think yourself very lucky, consider you are very lucky to have worked with wonderful directors.
Blessed, yes.
Sammohanam in Telugu, Humanized Actors. You've been quoted saying that although they are so much part of people's daily lives, actors are still unreachable for most of them. People tend to forget that actors are human beings too.
Yeah.
They do have a heart that can break. They do can cry. They do are soft in different ways.
Yeah.
But this film portrayed all of that.
Yeah, I loved it so much. You know, when I heard the script, I heard like a 5 line narration on the phone, and I was working at that time, and the director was like, "I'll give you a 5 line narration. If you like it, I'll come and narrate to you." I heard the 5 line narration, and I was like, "Sir, it's okay. You tell me the whole film. I'll listen." And on the phone, he told me the entire story. I was like, "Oh my god, this is like Notting Hill." It reminded me of Notting Hill and My Week with Madeline, where you know that actress who's like this larger than life person who everybody is in love with is just a simple girl, with a very soft, tender heart, and just like that line where I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. It's just it really like summarizes everything about uh, the film, or what at the end of the day what an actress is.
Yes.
Just another girl.
Yes.
So I loved Sammohanam for that, because somewhere I connected to it so much. Also, I love Mohan sir's writing, Mohan sir's the way he envisioned these characters, and also like there's a very famous filmmaker, Rishikesh Mukherjee, who used to make these lovely family warm fuzzy films.
Yeah.
And Sammohanam and Mohan's writing and characterization reminded me so much of those movies which don't really get made now.
Yes.
So yeah, so I really like Mohan sir as a writer director, and his sets are also like that, very warm, very loving, full of humor. I loved Samira. I loved playing her. I loved that film. And it was my first Telugu film, so very
Yes.
special for me.
Sufiyum Sujapiyum. In Malayalam, was your first OTT on Amazon Prime during the pandemic.
Yes. Yes.
I watched you on that, and I thought it was so beautifully conceived. And I normally don't watch a film the second time. Maybe Panchantantram. I can really pick and choose ones that I have repeatedly watched. This one I watched thrice.
Really?
And I would fast forward to get to that point where you were in a scene that I love. You dancing and you crying, and it was such an emotional journey for me, really. So
So
I
nice.
think you really lived your character.
Again, another part that's why, ma'am, when I choose a film, I'm like, if like from my gut, or just instinctively, if I love the story, or if I love that girl, or if I love the situation. Sometimes the guy, sometimes my co-star is such a lovely character. I'm like, I'll play opposite this person, like like that. So I feel like whenever I've chosen from my gut, I've just enjoyed it so much. And Sujata, again, one of those, like Meru Nisa, like Leela, like Samira, such a pure, beautiful girl, like such a beautiful soul. I just loved playing her. And again, when they told me the story, I got goosebumps, because it was such an eternally beautiful love story. I love love stories. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than a good love story, for me. So, and of course, I find Malayalam very difficult. Like, I can manage Tamil. I've even dubbed for myself in Telugu, but Malayalam is a difficult language, and they make some of the best films. And I'm like, I wish I could manage to speak the language. It's so difficult. In this film, I didn't have to speak. I was like, I am doing this. I was like, I don't care what date problems I have. Please wait for me. Please let me do this film. I really want to do it. So that's how I did it, and I enjoyed doing it. And it was so, like, the director was such a Sufi soul. The team was so nice. And very honestly, there were days when I would be frustrated on that set. I would cry out of frustration. But every time I would tell myself that these are the most incredibly loving, kind, creative people who are making something they believe in so strongly, and that would like make me want to work harder. It was a beautiful experience, really beautiful experience. One of my favorite films, which was supposed to be a theatrical, but it released on OTT.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an advantage in a way, because you came so close to us at home.
Yeah, it makes it more, I guess, makes it intimate.
Yeah. And especially the scene where you come back from Dubai after the hero, he dies, and they're going to bury him, and you want to be there before they
Yes.
shove him in. Oh my God, the multi expressions on your face, and it was like listening to a song for me, varied layers of emotions.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you
So, do you think OTT is here to stay, or
for
after
sure.
the pandemic?
100%. It's here to stay. Like, the magic of cinemas will never go. Like the theater. I love the theater. We've all grown up going to the theater, waiting to go to the theater, making plans. And it's such an immersive experience. You're like, literally, when you're in that theater, it's dark and there's that collective energy, and you go into a world that is created for you. And when you sit at home and watch a film, it's different.
Yes.
But I feel like because of the lockdown and because of suddenly there was so much content on OTT. People started actually there. I feel like the response to OTT as a platform has been phenomenal, and people's tastes, the kind of consumption, the kind of movies or shows, and the way people are consuming them is incredible. And somewhere I feel like there's going to be a really beautiful balance between theater and OTT, where people will be grateful for the theater and have value for the theater, and people have realized the value of the OTT platforms. They have been our best friends during the lockdown, and they have their own love. I mean, they have their love for the OTT platforms. I remember when Sufyan Sujati was going to OTT instead of the theater. I was in tears. I was like, no, this can't be. But I realized that with that one click of a link, the entire world is watching a movie. And today, like, I very proudly call myself an Indian film actor because I work in multiple languages, and I feel like those boundaries have blurred, because of the kind of content, because of the kind of consumption. And today I feel so happy because I've always said this, art is about making people feel, and feelings don't have boundaries of language, religion, caste, region. It's about the art form or the person who is the vehicle going and sitting in somebody's heart, and and then the audience taking you home with them. It's like that, you keeping that whole memory in their heart, and then coming back to find you again when the next time you are on screen, etc. So it's really, the OTT and all has really blurred all these boundaries, and it's made it really more expansive in a way. So I like that. I think, yeah, it's so beautiful.
Even as we watch movies, we as audience get attached to the characters and stories.
Yeah.
So how do you, as an actor, detach yourself from a particular role?
I don't know. I manage quite. Actually, I don't know how I do it, but like even when I'm doing like scenes where I'm weeping and crying, like I remember that scene in Sufyan Siratim where my party passes away. And we did that in one shot, like where I'm sleeping, I wake up, I go and find her, I cry, I throw that thing. That entire thing was one single shot. There were no cutaways, nothing. And so there was no glycerine, etc. But I was very close to my grandmother. It somehow brought some memories back in me, and I just was weeping. But I remember I wept. Nobody was calling cut. I was going on weeping, throwing something, and I was like banging on the door, and then my voice was going hoarse because I can't take out any voice. I'm like and weeping like that. I'm like, what is going on? And at some point, I just snapped out, and I was like, please, can you call cut?
I think you want as much footage as possible, you cry.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like for me, I need to snap out of it. And I don't know how it is. I guess every actor is different. So I do it. I snap out, and when I go back or just a second after I've done that scene, I'm not carrying any weight. But I will say that later, certain characters impact me, or how they are, or like I was saying, Leela or Merunisa or even Samira, whatever. Sometimes when people ask me questions and all, I find that they've actually like touched me or impacted me or whatever. So yeah, but otherwise I'm pretty much switch on, switch off. The camera is rolling, and I feel that place is so magical. Everything is real for those few seconds, and when it's cut, I'm like back to jumping around, laughing, doing something stupid, I don't know, whatever, eating, whatever.
I can imagine that.
Singing also.
These days, it's quite common to see workshops conducted before you commence a shoot.
Yeah.
Have you been a part of any interesting workshop?
Yes, in fact, I've been a part of many workshops, like more than workshops, just readings, where you with your director, your co-stars, you read, you discuss. And I always, I'm very, like, I never learned acting. So, and whatever I learned was dance, where you don't really speak. So I feel like when I read, it's almost like I'm in school reading, like somebody said, stand up, now read this paragraph. I literally read like that, and I'm almost embarrassed of the way I read. And I always give these disclaimers, please, I read very badly, I do very bad rehearsals, I'm really sorry. But I feel like once the camera is turned on, then I feel different, So I do the workshops, but I always give these disclaimers. But I feel like, almost like dance, where this whole thing of you do your rehearsal, something subconsciously keeps working in your mind. So I come clean slate, and I love to work with people I trust and respect. So I'm like, now this is a clean piece of paper. Now you fill it with whatever you want to fill it with, and I absorb it. And I feel like workshops and readings and all help you do that, because you listen to people, what they have to say, ideas, etc. And even if I have nothing to contribute at that point, somewhere it like works at the back of my head, and hopefully it comes out on location when I'm shooting. But I feel, because maybe I'm sensitive as a person, I feel like my actor's energy really rubs off onto me, and I feel like I like, if I do well and if people praise me, I'll always give credit to my director and my co-actors, because I feel like they make me better, so yeah. But the workshops do help, and they've been interesting. Like recently, I've been workshopping with Vikramaditya Motwani on something. Mohan sir always does workshops. Mani sir used to do multiple readings with me, because I didn't know the language also, and he taught me. He said that he would work with me, and it really, like, he would talk to me about the part, and he would always say, Mani sir always says, let's find Leela together, which is so nice. It's like, it's literally like an adventure that you go on, and you find the notes as you're going. It's like, I guess, for a musician, like you find your ragam, you're doing your this thing, and it's so nice to work like that. I love working with filmmakers like that, and actors like that, who give you space, help you, encourage you, are kind. Yeah.
So has there been a situation where you come into the set as a clean slate, as you said, and you do a shot, but then you have to do that shot several times, because it's not up to your satisfaction, nor to the satisfaction of the director.
Yeah.
So has there been a shot?
Yeah, there has been, like, like for me, I always joke, and I'm like, by the third take, I'm done. Like, I don't know what to do. After that, I feel like I'm not sure. Like, I feel nervous to do more takes. Like, so I remember I went from Manisar's set, Kaatru Veliyidai, and his style of working is quite different. I went to Sanjay sir's set, and I remember my first day of shoot.
Okay.
We were doing a particular scene, and Sanjay sir, I think, he kept wanting something different from me in every take, and by the end of it, we were on take 12. Wow. And I heard that number, and I almost wanted to cry. I was like, oh my god, 12 takes? Like, I don't think I've ever been on that number. I'm like, what is it that I'm not? But I, like, with every take, I would keep telling myself, this is my guru. He wants, every time he's wanting me to do something different, and I must deliver it to him. Yeah. Like, because I'm also finding what it is that he wants. I'm finding that sur or whatever it is, and I need to give it to him. Or that whatever, that abhinay, whatever it is. And I just did it. And even though I wanted to cry, I was just like, I'm in class, do it. And the 12th take, he said, okay, now do it your way. And then I did it, and then I remember when I finished, he gave me a hug. And after that day, it was great. That first day was like a test.
Yes.
So that instance I remember very well. Otherwise, it happens quite often on set, like you'll be doing take 5, 6, focus has gone, some rain didn't happen properly. Like recently we were shooting and some rain machine, something, focus, whatever. We're all laughing because we're like, oh, how do you keep doing the same thing again and again? But as actors, I guess you just keep going back to that memory place and you try and do either the same thing or you try and vary it a bit, and it's a challenge every time. So,
So now you've diversified your work by being a part of South Indian movies as well as Hindi cinema. Uh, this is a difficult question, but I mean, in the sense that, to put it into words, it might be difficult. How does it feel to be accepted across the country, across the globe?
actually, I can never put that into words, that feeling, and also because they're just words. But what I feel is like so much more than what that word even says. There's a feeling of like you feel grateful, you feel blessed, you feel like, oh my God, I must have done something good in my last life. Um, and you also feel like, I also somewhere feel like, oh my God, people are just so kind and they're so loving. The kind of things they say, the way that they love me, the way that they unconditionally love me. And I remember, like it all started for me with Kaatru Veliyidai and that first teaser that went online, and I felt just, oh my God, like how can it be that there's these people who give so much love in so much, like with such a big heart. And I always feel like when people say something nice about me or they see me, like they'll use these beautiful words and they'll be like, oh, she's so angelic. I'm like, I'm just a normal person, but they look at me like that. So there's something amazing about them that they see so much in a person. So I really give credit to all these amazing fans. I have like a lot of respect for them and I really thank them every single day. And I feel like, people talk about how difficult it is for actors, or the fact that, we live these crazy lives, we're running around this, that, and people judge us, whatever. I always say it might be true, but my God, we live magical lives. There are chosen few people in the country, in the world, who get to do something that they love so much, and they get so much unconditional love from people. We are so blessed. So the all the difficulties are worth the amount of love that we get. And I always tell myself that when I'm having a bad day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm blessed. Thank you so much for like everything that I have.
You said much of what I feel also, what I would like to tell my audience. Always that gratitude.
Yeah.
For their kindness, for their acceptance, for their reciprocation.
They are so generous, like so generous. And I feel like it takes courage for people. Like when people come and ask me for selfies, I mean, it's only COVID time that I'm like, please guys, you should be careful of me. I'm working on a set. But otherwise, I never like to say no. Even people who write to me on Twitter or Instagram, I'm like, my God, the amount of love they give, the courage it takes, to go up to somebody and knowing that you'll be turned away, but to go up, I'm always like, I'll never turn you away because I'm here because of you in many ways. So
Yes.
I really feel like we really, what is it for us to give them back that love? It's a small thing that they're asking for, and we should do it. Though I want to tell people that in COVID times they should try not to take selfies with people because it's not safe. That's the only reason.
Yes. Now we're done with the major questions. Now there's a small list of firing range questions. You can be as short as possible.
Okay.
What should everyone, or should we say, every woman try once in her lifetime?
Every woman try once in her lifetime. Oh my God.
As a woman, you do everything that a woman does. But is there something that you think a woman should do besides the fact that she's a woman? I don't know if the question sounds complicated.
I think every human should dance. There is a freedom that you get, and all your self-consciousness, everything, just to be able to dance freely. Every human should do that.
Good. Something nice that you did for yourself recently. You said, hey, why not? Let me do it.
Something nice that I did for myself recently. I moved houses in Bombay.
Okay.
And I did up my place. and I indulged myself in just uh, with like little things just to make my space like beautiful, because for me it's really important to have like a place which feels beautiful to me. So I indulge. Normally I'm not so indulgent with myself, but I was. Also in the lockdown, I got back to my dancing, I think.
What makes you feel not so comfortable?
I'm very uncomfortable. Like I'm very sensitive to people's energies. So if I feel like a weird energy from people, I can't be around them. I have to just leave. Which can, and also everything shows on my face, ma'am. Like I can't hide anything. So it's very tough for me. Yeah. And you know what? Okay, to make it more clear, I find when people use their power, like their position of power, and talk down to people, or are rude to people who don't have the same power, I can't be party to that. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Fair enough. Fair, absolutely. What's your best stress buster?
Dancing and music and yoga.
Ah, yes. One cherished moment with your fans. I mean, something that your fans say that you still, that moment.
I think I have to say I'm very lucky, because every day I get like multiple messages where I'm just like, oh my god, is this even real? Yeah, and like people will call and travel, I don't know how many kilometers just to come and meet me, or like the letters they send, the things they do. It's really sweet. I mean, and the fan art. Every Friday I do this thing called Fan Art Friday. I'm just like the kind of time and patience that people take to make portraits of me. I'm just like, you're all great, really.
Your best career advice to someone who would like to get into this?
I feel like you have to believe in yourself so much that you do it the way that you want to do it. And I feel like the only way that you can do it like that fearlessly is the day you accept yourself for who you are and be your most authentic self. And that's when people will love you for who you are.
Yeah, you should never try to hate someone.
Yeah. And also you should really believe in yourself and in your love for the art form.
So how do you clear your mind after a very stressed day, or a day that you work like for 16 hours or 18 hours?
Actually, I'm quite a 5-year-old. I laugh as easily as I cry. Like, and I'm one of those, like, if I'm hungry or if I'm upset or whatever, I'll have a bit of a howl. But it's very easy to make me laugh. And usually it's people I love, like to be surrounded by people I love. Music really helps me. Like sometimes when I'm getting ready and it's very early in the morning and I say I'm hangry, like I'm hungry and angry. My team will just be like, let's play some music. And we'll quickly play music and then I'll be dancing. So I think, yeah, dancing and music usually. And just people. Yeah.
What's your favorite cuisine?
A lot. I love my South Indian food. Idlis, and any time of day or night, I can eat idli. Japanese food. I love Japanese food. I'm a foodie, so I like a lot of different kinds of cuisine.
So in this new house, which is your happy place?
Actually, my room and the living room. I find that it's I like this open house system, because my grandmother, mother, they were always very welcoming of people. So I find that when people come to everybody calls my house Hotel California. They like, you come in there, then you don't leave, and I love it that way. There's always food, there's always place, there's always lots of love, and there's always music.
So you watch a lot of movies, right?
I do. Maybe not as many as I should be watching. But
is there a role that you wish you can play in the future?
So many. I love love stories. So any like amazing love story I want to do. Like suppose a Barfi. I love atonement. I love atonement. Then Gone Girl is a part that I wouldn't maybe I wouldn't get offered a part like that, but I really love Gone Girl, and I would love to play that as a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is like I learned a little bit of Kalari, so I feel like an Indian version of that, an action romance. Yeah.
You love fun, right? So why can't you play comedy?
I would love to do comedy, and people who know me are like, why does nobody give you a comedy film? And I love comedy, and like in my, and that is also very very much a part of my personality with people who I know well. Like I'm quite like I can be quite like goofy and silly, but a lot of people don't see that about me. But I would love to do comedy. And in fact, Brinda Master's film, the one that I'm doing in Tamil, which I finished with Dulkar, that is kind of got like that vibe. Like Brinda Masters always says she looks all like a butterfly, or she's actually a rowdy. So he has given me a part like that. It was so much fun. I had so much fun doing it because I was just like free to do anything. And it was a lot of fun. And I found it so difficult to keep a straight face on set because I get giggling fits and I just don't stop laughing. And that is one of the reasons we would do 5 and 6 takes, because I would mess up takes because I would start laughing. So yeah. So I would love to do comedy. Yeah.
So I think we're done. Is there anything that you'd like to say of your own?
No, this was fun. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Aditi, for these candid expressions and really expressing yourself. It has been a wonderful evening getting insights into your career, into your home, into your passions, into your body of work, just everything. So, can I be one of your top 10 fans?
Wow, that's an honor.
So, wishing you the very, very best and hope to see you lots down south.
Thank you so much. Next time, I hope I'll get the ragams right.
That's fine. I mean, once I told you what the catch was.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Wow, such charm, such simplicity, and yet so much of charisma. That was Aditi Rao Hydari for you. I'm sure you enjoyed the evening, knowing more about this beautiful butterfly. She called herself a butterfly. Beautiful actress with an enigmatic smile. There's so much behind that smile, so much of a child. So we will meet again in maybe 2, 3 weeks as I'm traveling a little bit. There are going to be surprises for you in the next session. Wait and join me, and we can have some wonderful moments together. In the meanwhile, I go like a parrot. Every time that I finish an episode of Expressions Espresso, I have to say this. Please do take care of yourself. This pandemic is a little hard on all of us, the entire world. So we have to be responsible and undertake responsibility, not only for ourselves, but the people around us and the people we love. So, have you got your vaccines done? And probably you're waiting for your next shot. Remember the SMS, sanitizers, masks, and social distancing. Vaccines are really not the passport to freedom, to be away from essence. Till we see you again. Ta-da!